what is it that brands want to get out of online video? What needs to be delivered, and maybe what's missing, if you can sort of maybe frame those?
Well, I think what's missing is inventory, or that's been sort of the big issue, and that was our big issue, frankly, because we did, I think, by the time I left the company, by the time we sold the company, we did about 1 billion streams a month, but the majority of those streams were user-generated content, which many advertisers wanted to stay away from. So there was an inventory shortage, I think, in the space, and from what I'm hearing today, almost a year later, there still is. And I think that is in some ways sustaining the high CPMs for the inventory, and that ecosystem needs to grow, I guess. I think, to me, coming at it not from an advertising background, but more sort of like business development kind of background, not pure advertising, it seemed to me that online video should be nirvana for advertisers, because it is sight, sound, and motion, passion advertising that is also accountable and verifiable and has a lot of metrics associated with it, as opposed to, not to knock on Nielsen, there's billions and billions and billions of dollars spent on Nielsen ratings, but panel-based accounting. So, it would seem to me to be absolute nirvana. What has been interesting is that it still is not getting its fair share, I think, of the dollars being spent in the marketplace. And I don't know if that's changed dramatically in the last 10 months or so, but certainly, this whole Jeff Zucker, I guess, former NBC, comment about digital pennies versus, TV dollars still is kind of true. And so I'm not really sure why that is. And is it just that, marketers are not huge risk takers? I don't really know.
To go, one of the things, Joy, you said was about the limited inventory, and something that we've heard from Eli from ComScore is the idea of there being premium content, and I define premium content as that content that the advertisers recognize, they've heard of it, they are familiar with it. Then there's that, then obviously we have UGC that everyone recognizes. It's very hard to understand really what's going on there. Then there's this middle segment of web TV, and I think web TV hasn't been given its chance to become really active in that inventory. YouTube is the one who's really making the grandest push in this space with the partner program. Currently there's over 40,000 partners within that program that YouTube has basically blessed and said you are advertising friendly, and is doing its best to convince the advertisers of that. One piece that's missing within there is a way for the advertisers to understand and have that content rated in a way that they can say that this is safe to play in. There's a very high level engagement here, and I understand how I am involved even if I've never heard of it. And so that's something that there's an initiative called Open Slate that I'm really looking forward to having a big part of that. And then lastly, when you look at how organizations, again, like a YouTube, are packaging up the sales, it's very telling of the idea of needing to convince the advertisers and really convincing the agencies that it's safe to buy. The packing ratios on the premium channels that YouTube are funding are about 9-to-1. In other words, 90% of the money that you spend within a category on the featured channels, 90% of that money goes to the partners within that category that you've never heard of. Again, very similar to TV in a lot of ways. You can't just go to Comedy Central and say, I want to buy South Park. You're going to spend some of your money on South Park, but the rest is going to go all over Comedy Central's channel. The same thing is starting to happen with web and premium video, meaning also the web TV component. So with those changes, I think that's going to expand that notion of limited inventory. It's only limited on what they feel comfortable buying. There's a lot more there for them to buy.